Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Alfia Devabasuki, and this time I want to explain about the background of English morphology. It contains of two main materials. The first is the family history of English and the historical influence for the second material. Okay, so for the first material, the family history of English. We all know about the family tree, and in this material is known as the family tree is a commonly used metaphor in the classification of languages. Some language families are larger than others. Some families stick together for long periods of time while others drift apart. The analogy with the family tree allows us to talk about the parent language evolving into the daughter languages and talk also about the splitting of families into branches of languages, about the maintenance and severance of family ties, and the continuity of shared characteristics. One way of establishing the historical link between languages is by looking into their vocabularies of English reveal that the layers of words that correspond to its family history. Some of these words are shared with languages from which English has been separated for millennia. Talk about this material, there are big three family history of English. The first one is Indo-European. It said that in Indo-European the name derives from the geographical range over which these languages were spoken before some of them spread to the New World, roughly from India to Iceland. The second family history is the Germanic branch. Germanic branch is the one of the descendant of a common Germanic ancestor spoken between 2200 and 2000 years ago. Germanic is further divided into two subgroups with living descendants. The first is the first is in North Germanic and the second is in West Germanic. And the last family historical in English is English. The authoritative ecclesiastical history of the English people written in 731 by English cleric Bede. English usually identified as the year of birth of the English language. The second main material is historical influence on the early vocabulary of English. In this part, there are 10 historical influence. Territorial proximity and a shared genetic source can account only partially for the degree of closeness between English and its sister languages. Genetic similarities are obscured, even completely disguised by time, culture, economic, and demographic factors. Indeed, for the structure of vocabulary, nothing is as important as the historical context in which the language evolved. The first historical influence is from the indigenous vocabulary of Old English. Its surviving from this earliest period are words denoting natural phenomena, plants, animals, kinship term, verb for basic human activities, adjectives for essential qualities, numeral, also the last is for the pronouns. The second is the earliest loanword. In the earliest loanword, there are three major sources of outside vocabularies in Old English. The first is Celtic, the second Latin, and the third is Scandinavian. The Celtic languages were not a significant source of new words except for a few everyday words such as bean, cradle, dun, and crag. There is a geographical names such as Cannes, Dover, York, and London. There are also Celtic English hybrid, so it's a mix between the Celtic word and English words, such as in 41 Yorkshire and Canterbury. So the first York and the Canter is a place name in Celtic, while the Shire and Bury are the Old English vocabularies. The third is Latin. It says that about 3% of the Old English word stock comes from Latin, or in some cases from Greek through Latin. The fourth is continental borrowings. Many words reflecting the military, administrative, and commercial dealings between the Roman Empire and its dealing with the pre-Old English Germanic tribes. The fifth, Christianity and monastic culture. In this period of time, the word is appear because of the Christian religion or religious practices such as candle, devil, disciple, eternal, and pope. And six, there is Scandinavian. It influence in place name ending such as name ending in son, as in Jackson and Robertson, and the Scandinavian influence word such as back, call, cast, die, and other more. And seventh is historical influence from English becomes a hybrid. It started when Norman conquered Britain in 1066, and in that year, William, Duke of Normandy, attacked and defeated the English army at Hastings on the south coast of England. And because of this, there are massive influx of French words to the English, and the words are still used until this time. The next is French loanword in Middle English. Slightly 10,000 out of the vocabularies, or the 75%, have survived and are still used in present day English. Literacy in medieval times were very much an accomplishment related to social standing. The ninth, early post-conquest borrowings. In here, for some reason which perhaps have much to do with the keeping and survival of record, the overall number of documented borrowings word before 1250 is relatively modest. It's about 900. Word like jealous, journey, judge, and liquor. And the last is historical at Central French. The word stock of Middle English was enriched with words reflecting the leading position of the new aristocracy in the legal, military, administrative, political, religious, and cultural spheres. In this period, you could find many words that mix with French that still being used until this day, such as a familiar word is déjà vu and encore. I think that's all from my explanation about the background of English morphology, and thank you.